Hello everybody, how are you? How are you doing? Apologies for the reflection in the glasses, but my eyes are very, very tired today and there's no way I can wear contacts. I've been struggling a little bit with feeling a bit off par this last week, and but I wanted to come on. Metatron said just go on and your presence will be appreciated. So I don't know what words are going to come out, but anyway, I am here. And as you can see, I'm wearing the beautiful jumper that Jean knitted for me that you saw last time. There we are. I'll give you a little show of that. Isn't it gorgeous? It's also very warm. And it felt like putting on a hug this morning. That's the way I would describe it. And I felt like I really needed that hug. And I think we all need a bit of a hug at the moment. I pulled this card for myself this morning, but I'm going to talk about it for all of us and weave this in somehow into the reading that I give, because this is the card of sensitivity. I also got the card of create space. Create space for what you are feeling at this moment in time. Lots of emotions, lots of feelings, linked into many different things that are going on, and feeling a little bit overwhelmed with everything that's just coming up. All good in the long run, but honouring my innate sensitivity and seeing that actually that is a most precious, precious gift, to be sensitive and to be empathic in a world where often you don't necessarily see that. And that applies to many of you, of course, who are watching me. Birds of a feather flock together, hey? So we're all sensitive, a lot of us on this channel, and feeling a little bit overwhelmed. And I feel as though Metatron is saying that we need to create some space for what we are feeling. We need to create some space and time for ourselves and our own processing. I'm recording this on the 4th of March, and there's no way I could have done this video before today, even though March is 4 days in. The energies have felt as though we need to be in deep reflection, but there's an irony because there's also a lot going on. So where you can, the need to reflect and go within, but also honouring this sensitivity. And, you know, the rose on this card makes me feel as though it's linked into the heart chakra. And the heart chakra feels very tender at the moment, very, very tender. And without wishing to get political, although I suppose I am, but even by mentioning this person's name, I'm being shown somebody in my mind's eye here as I'm talking about sensitivity. And it might be a name that you don't even know if you're not in the UK. But there's a politician called Priti Patel, and she is in Boris Johnson's cabinet, and I suspect she will have resigned probably by the end of the week, because what is happening is there's claim after claim after claim coming in around her, linked into the bullying, okay? And I just dipped into her energy field just as I was reading stuff about her this morning, and it was like, whoa, okay, that's an energy that feels very foreign to me, is the kindest way I will put it. Okay, it's a very foreign energy because it doesn't feel deeply sensitive or empathic, let's put it that way. To bully somebody else, you can't do it basically if you're an empath, because you would put yourself in the shoes of the person that you were treating badly. And a lot of the claims that are coming up linked into her, they date back years as well. So I'm just using her as an example because it feels as though we're in times of great karma as well, as though the way that we have treated people in the past is coming back to either bite us on the backside or to greet us with a rose. Okay, and let's hope we're being greeted with the rose, you know. So very karmic times, very sensitive times, times of great overwhelm. March feels enormous energetically. I'm going to make no bones about that. It feels enormous. And I will come back a couple of times through March, I'm sure, to do updates, because we're just sort of at the brink of the waves of energy that are going to be hitting, particularly around equinox, and then basically the second half of March. So I feel as though we're building up to a bit of a crescendo, and I think we all need to be looking after each other, but I also feel as though we need to be looking after ourselves. I've definitely tried to pull back a little bit energetically. It was interesting on my Facebook page. I took the weekend off. I should take every weekend off, to be honest. But last weekend I took the weekend off, and a few people noticed it, that I was absent. And it's okay, it's nice to be missed in some ways, but please realise that all of us need to be safeguarding our own energy at this time. And this includes teachers, practitioners, in fact, even more people who are actually at the front face dealing with clients, other people that rely on you. Okay, it's really important. So in terms of who's around this month, in terms of energies, of course, I'm going to bring in Archangel Metatron. I've also felt the presence of Archangel Uriel this morning, and I have often talked on this channel about the fact that I feel as though Archangel Uriel, I liken him a bit to the canary that used to go down the mines in a couple of hundred of years ago here in the UK. And they would send the canary down the mines to see whether there was any poison or toxins that would be unsafe to put people down there. And if the canary came back okay, it was all right to go there. So it's as though Uriel is a bit like this scout. He's scouting out the energy for March, and he's also scouting out the different paths that are opening up to us in all sorts of areas of life. And I think it's useful to bring his energy in to help us, and to see that there is another being, it's almost like in front of us, that is just clearing the way and trying to help us through this very difficult time. And the thing is, when you feel quite overwhelmed, it can be very difficult to make a decision on anything. I had to make a quite important decision today on something linked into my personal life. And I actually just said to my husband, I said, you're just going to have to make this decision for us, because I said, I'm almost in the point today where I can't even decide whether I'm going to have baked beans for lunch or scrambled egg. You know, it's sort of, I'm making light of it, but that is sort of where it is. So if you've got somebody practical who can help you with the decision-making process, great. If not, also realise that Uriel as an energy is very much out there, just trying to help you to not go down dead alleys, to not go down the wrong path, to sweep ahead, basically. Let's bring his energy in before I mention the other energy that I'm feeling this month as well. So this is Archangel Uriel, okay, coming in on the sort of a beautiful, I don't know what I'd call that. It's almost like a burnt orangey, what would I call that? It reminds me of autumn colours. Anyway, let's just take my glasses off. Okay, Uriel. Archangel Uriel, March. He's showing me like a pyramid structure, and it's as though the top of the pyramid, I'll just show you a little orgonite that I've got here. So the top of the pyramid is golden, okay? And it's as though some of us are trying to run before we can walk, is what he's saying. So it's as though the top of the pyramid is golden, but yet underneath it, there is all this sort of drossy sort of energy that needs attention. And the drossy energy is basically linked into things that we haven't wanted to look at, things that we've been sweeping aside as we've been sort of taking our strides to try and achieve something, go somewhere, do something, claim something, be something. It's as though the tail end needs to be cleaned up, okay? So this may particularly apply to business, actually, I'm feeling. You know, overreaching, going for promotion maybe, taking the next job on the ladder, okay, in terms of career progression, but not actually sweeping up underneath you in terms of what you've left behind. And I have to say, the example of the UK female politician Priti Patel that I've mentioned is actually quite a perfect one, because she was just promoted recently by Boris Johnson to a very important position in the country. She's in the cabinet, but yet she obviously hadn't done that sweeping, and in terms of her back history, how she's treated people in the past, it's all coming back to basically bite her. Now she's at the top of the pyramid, she's got this golden position, but yet it's not tenable, because what is underneath is corrosive, is what I'm hearing, okay? So, you know, if there was, I haven't got my Metatron cards to hand, let me just grab them. There is a card in the Metatron deck called Priorities, and I think that this month it's going to be really, really important to go back to basics and to make sure that every single run of your ladder, as it were, which the ladder is basically life, each one is operating efficiently, okay? So you can't just go here. You can't just leap to the top of the pyramid and, you know, just be striving for that. Every single rung of the ladder, every single rung of the pyramid has to be in balance, has to be healthy. And without that, then we're going to struggle. A lot of people, including myself, are being forced to look at health at the moment, and don't see that as a setback. See that as something which is actually there to try and help you to build a better environment for what you actually wish to be achieving. Now, there's a card that I have had sitting on my desk for the last 5 days, also from The Secret Language of Light by Denise Jarvie. And it's this card, which is the card of Inward Revolution. I'm going to read you the message that goes with the card of Inward Revolution. And then I'll tell you, there's a story basically in terms of this one, how this came about, why I picked this particular card. But just linked into what I was saying with regard to priorities, making sure that all parts of yourself are well, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, making sure that your past is also has been put to bed in terms of having healed what's in the past that might affect where you are now in the future. Let me just read this card of Inward Revolution. So it said, I'll just, if I put the card there and read at the same time, okay. It says, you are always moving forward, even when you feel like you are going backward. Your path may seem to go up and down or inward and outward. The spiral is a symbol of your soul journey. It represents the cyclical adventure into your heart center. You will continually revisit aspects of your life to bring you to a deeper understanding. Difficulties and challenges can command a greater focus as they help to build bigger and better dreams and desires. Each cycle of life is an important stepping stone that expands into the next. Your life will only feel authentic when you come to your own conclusions. An inward revolution will open you to the wisdom of your soul. It is a path we must all take to truly know and love ourselves. And from this place, we move outward, back into the world, empowered with our soul's wisdom. You are worthy of all you desire, no matter where you are in the spiral, okay? And actually, it encourages you in this deck to paint spirals, draw spirals, make spiral mosaics. One of you actually sent me a spirograph last year, which is downstairs in our lounge, and I do get that out from time to time. But let's just go back into the core message here, which is that I feel as though some of us are feeling a little bit disappointed in ourselves, that we're having to go back over old ground. Maybe old wounding that we thought was done and dusted, being triggered by things that we thought were in the past. As I say, health matters rearing their head, and rather than feeling it's as though your body's letting you down, or it's like, I thought I'd done that, why is this coming back? Start to see it as actually part of this beautiful spiral that is actually trying to take you, the phone, is trying to take you deeper than you've gone before. And I'm being shown a corkscrew, okay? It's like a corkscrew in a bottle. Corkscrew in a bottle, and you know, the old-fashioned corkscrew that you used to have to really sort of, you know, go like that to get the cork out and then obviously get to the wine. Well, it's as though whatever healing we've done already, we've gone a little bit down, but now it's like we're really going down, you know, and it's quite a stubborn cork, you know, and it's in danger of sort of splitting as well. But it's like, we're going to get to that damned wine, you know, if our life depends on it. The wine, of course, is linked into the nectar. It's linked into the beauty and the divinity that is within ourselves. But it's like a drilling down month at the moment, and I feel as though it's like there's no escape. There's no escape from doing the work this month, and nor should we want to try and escape from it. But I think even if you try and escape from it, you're not going to be able to. You are going to be forced to look at it. And it does strike me that, and I'm not going to say the word because I don't want to have this video demonetized. So I'm just going to write this word down. That's the level of craziness that we've got to in our world, that I actually have to write things down so that it doesn't get flagged up. So if we think about this energy that's in our world at the moment, okay, again, part of what that feels energetically about to me is it's inviting us actually to go within, because it's impacting on us going out. It's putting some doubt, certainly, into people's minds in terms of, well, do I want to go there? Do I want to do that? Maybe it's actually safer at home. Let's use that now in terms of the symbolism of home. Where is home? It's safer to be at home. It's safer to be at home. I am home. My heart is my home, okay? It's safer to go within at this moment in time. And it's as though this external thing that is global at the moment and affecting all of us in different ways is forcing this inward journey, this inward revolution. But it's not just that's doing it, it's other things as well. Do you know this card, the card of inner revolution, it came up, it was last week, it was probably last Wednesday or Thursday. And in the UK, we have got substantial flooding at the moment and rain. And there's been one place on the news, certainly last week, where you kept seeing this one place over and over and over again. And the place is called Ironbridge. I think it's in the West Country. And it's a bit like when, I believe, when a word or a name gets said over and over again, words and names carry vibrations. So even if you're using that word or name and you're talking about something completely other, there's also the meaning of the actual name itself. And so when I kept hearing Ironbridge repeatedly, every night, it was like, what are the waters looking like in Ironbridge? Because there was this swollen river, which was getting more and more swollen every day. The town was in danger of flooding. The defences were just about holding. I don't know whether they did actually hold, but you know, it was a very precarious situation. But Ironbridge, 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 over and over again. And I kept thinking to myself, what is this about Ironbridge? Why am I noticing that word or that name of that town? So I looked it up. Ironbridge is cited, certainly by the tourism board there, as being They say the birthplace of the Industrial Revolution. I don't know whether that's a claim to fame or whether it actually was the birthplace of the Industrial Revolution within the UK, or whether it's just one of the places. But certainly what I read is it was the birthplace of the Industrial Revolution. And you've got this 100-foot iron bridge representing, again, a transition from an old age to an industrial age. And I thought, and then I pulled that card. Industrial Revolution to an inward revolution. It's almost as though, I mean, we've got different timelines going on here, because on one hand, we've got the timeline at play, which is wanting to take us deeper and deeper. Remember the corkscrew, taking us deeper and deeper into technology, okay? And ultimately, that leads into artificial intelligence, deeper and deeper and deeper into technology. But on the other hand, actually what we're being invited to is another revolution, another timeline which is possible, which I feel as though I am on, and you are probably on if you're watching me, which is an inward revolution, okay? It's got nothing to do with the fancy gadgets. I mean, this isn't a fancy gadget, but you know, Stone Age man would have thought this was bloody amazing. You know, look at that, I click that and flame. You know, Stone Age man would have been there rubbing the stones together, trying to create fire. I can just do that and it's there. You know, how easy is that? But, you know, take technology obviously into all sorts of other areas. Now, this is an inward revolution. We are being forced to go inward. And so you've got situations such as the climate, okay, what's going on with the weather, things such as this. They are making us, forcing us to go within. And it will be interesting, actually, in light of this, how our leaders do, okay? How our leaders do. I think it's a real test of leadership. And for all countries, not just one, for all countries. How are the leaders going to respond to this? And I hope that they respond well, but I also know that really we are being called to answer the challenges of this by going within. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is going within and listening to your own counsel, your own higher self, your gut feel. You know, if you have a gut feel about, I don't know whether I really should be going there, listen to it, you know? And that could be anything. I'm not talking about getting on an aeroplane. It could just be going, I don't know, to a restaurant or something. Maybe at some point in the future, you know, that particular restaurant on that particular day is not a safe zone. I'm not saying don't go out and don't eat, because it's really important to support businesses through this. But I'm just saying go with your gut feel, okay? Go inward. Also, the heart has all the answers. One of you on this channel, only a couple of days ago, I won't name you, I won't even say what you were asking me about, but you kept going on and on about, will I look at something? And then I answered you, I thought very politely, and I basically said, it's one of a huge number of requests that I have to look at subjects. I'm making no promises that I can do that, but you can do it. You go within. You go within and find the answers to that which you're seeking. And the comment came back, you know, that I'm very disappointed in your response. Well, you know, that's where we're at. It's like, no, we all need to own the fact that we have all the answers within us. We all have the answers within us. And yet we search externally for them the whole time. So the inward revolution and the spiral. I mean, over and above, you know, the meaning to this card that I've just read out to you, when I was looking at that, what I was seeing, this to me, these spirals feel as though they are DNA. There's a DNA thing going on here. Let's just say thing. That's a very scientific word, isn't it? A DNA integration, light codes that are coming down. And it feels as though the main light codes that are coming down, if you look at this picture, are coming down through the higher chakras. So that will be the stellar gateway, the soul star and the crown, and then the earth star and the base. Okay, so here's your human being. Put yourself onto this picture. You know, here's your body. This is the earth star. This is beneath your feet. And these chakras up here are above your head. This is your body that is just like pulsing. It's pulsing with all of these upgrades, all of these frequencies that are trying to come into it. And it's trying to cope with it. And this is why I feel the body is sort of like a bit in overwhelm at the moment. And we need to be very gentle with it. I mean, a silly little example, but I know that the body is more sensitive than normal. Just myself. I never do this, by the way, guys. Never do this. I put some neat tea tree oil onto my cheek the other day because, you know, I suffer from skin blemishes and stuff like that. And, you know, they say don't put neat tea tree oil onto your skin. You shouldn't be doing that. But for my skin, I've always been able to tolerate it. Oh no, within 24 hours, I've got like a swelling here on my cheek. My skin is just like, no, don't do that to us at a time when we're trying to detoxify, you know, and the skin is an organ, remember? We're trying to just cope with everything else that's going on, all of these codes that are coming in from above and below. We're just trying to hold it together here. Don't put other things onto us that are going to add any particular stress. Take it away from oil, the skin an analogy that I've just used. Think about diet now. Again, if we look at that, this is a call to build up our own immune systems, to look after ourselves better with diet. How many times have we said that? How many times have I said that? How many times have I said that to myself? But what was really strange, but also I'm very pleased about, is about 2 weeks ago, I just suddenly had almost like a Damascus moment where I just suddenly thought, I've had enough of this weight that I'm carrying. It's time for it to go. I am going to diet, and I've said this over and over again over the years. I'm not excessively heavy, but I put a bit of weight on. That's it. That is it. I'm drawing a line in the sand, and it's amazing. I've lost 5 pounds within about 9 days. Might be a little bit too fast, actually, but the point is, I've got my head around it. My body is very grateful, and I'm back on track with it. So it's almost as though I heard the call that this is the moment, you've actually got to do it. No point, again, walk the talk. No point just talking about that you're going to do it, okay? You're going to have to do it. And I did answer that call and my body's like, thank you, thank you. So be very gentle with the body because it's going through so much right now, so much right now. And as a collective, we are going, there is a revolution in town, okay? And it is inward. All right, let's pull some more cards. I'm going to stick with the secret language of light. Let's just see what the next message is. Let's just say that, shall we? What is the next message? Got 3 then. I'm going to put those back. Want 1, please. Variance. Look at that. Beautiful cards, aren't they? It's the card of variance. So I'm just going to read this intuitively. I mean, the first thing that says to me is like, whoa, massive expansion of the light body, okay? It's like I'm wanting to superimpose a human being's body onto that. And it's just like, there's no surprise that we're all feeling a bit like, oh. Actually, there is a human body underneath it there, but it's almost like I'm seeing the human body there, immersed in all that light. There is enormous variance at this moment in time. There is enormous variance in terms of the energies, which I have said repeatedly recently are changing day by day, hour by hour, week by week. One moment you're feeling okay, the next you're not. Huge variance in terms of frequencies and energies. And it is the human body that is trying to adjust. Your body is the most amazing vehicle that has the power to heal itself of anything, that holds your soul. If you really think about that, your body holds your soul. What an extraordinary job for it to have been given to do. Your body's just flesh and bone and blood at the end of the day. But yet within it, housing it, is this thing that we haven't even got to grips with. You know, science certainly hasn't got to grips with. And I would also say the spiritual community hasn't fully got to grips with. It's as though what Metatron is saying is we see the soul still very much. He's actually saying it in quite a 1D way, not even a 3D way. You know, we're still seeing it very much in just a one-dimensional way, rather than realizing the soul is this amazing hall of holograms, is what he's saying. This hall of holograms that contains so much information, so much wisdom, so much memory, so much potential, so much connectiveness to everything and everyone. And yet we limit it. We limit it. And so on top of the soul, which is just this, I'm just being shown it's just like this magnificent, huge, pulsing light, which is having to be contained in this human body, which makes it feel, you know, a bit like in prison, to be perfectly honest. And then we don't treat the body right. And then on top of that, you've got all of this pulsing variance in terms of what's going on in the collective, what's going on in terms of light codes, the sun, the weather, whatever. Is it any wonder that we are feeling oversensitive and that we need to prioritize and give ourselves some space? No. I'm actually feeling a lot better seeing these cards because it makes a lot of sense to me. It makes an enormous lot of sense to me. Yeah, you see what's on the bottom of the deck. Perfect. What is on the bottom of the deck is Soulcraft. Soulcraft. As I show you that, I'm just feeling it right into the throat chakra. Throat and higher heart. It's as though that has a transmission of its own. And if I put the Archangel Uriel bottle up next to it, can you see how perfectly they go together? So I'm not going to say any words linked into this card. I'm actually just going to allow it to transmit whatever it needs to transmit for you, for your soul. And we're going to do it with the energy of Archangel Uriel. And the thing I love about Uriel as well is that he's got a very grounded energy. So it feels as though whatever transmission needs to come in for your soul now, for me, as soon as I saw that, it hit me here and here. But for you, it might go somewhere else. Just open up and allow whatever needs to come through here. We're just going to do this for a minute, maybe less. Spray the Uriel. Be with your body. Link into your soul. And a way to help you link into your soul is just to silently in your mind, your head, just say your name 3 times with complete and utter love. Your name 3 times. And then connect into this. Okay. And now I'm going to read whatever words go with it. Thank you, Bella, for your assistance there in integrating that code. Good old Bella, hey? Number 10, Soulcraft. This is lovely. Okay. These are the words that go with this card. It says, life happens from you, not to you. Should we just think about that for a moment? Life happens from you, not to you. I.e. that you create the life that you have. You create the life that can be. Life doesn't do anything to you, you create your life. The thoughts, ideas and topics you discuss are crafting your life. So focus on ones that make your heart smile. You are ready to receive answers from your soul about any topic, thought or idea that you want to change. Be wise in your crafting, and the path of least resistance will call you. Different soul vibrations will inspire different actions. If you are feeling tired, your inspired action will be to rest or sleep. If you're feeling love, you will be inspired to do things that emulate love in your day. We all sense with our soul, but often override it with the rational mind. Trust your soul is bringing you the most up-to-date information. In many ways, it's what I was saying earlier about, please, we all have to start learning to trust ourselves more. And not just hear that and then for that to be like a passing, oh yeah, okay, I'll do that, and then forget all about it in the next breath. To really start trusting ourselves more. What do I need in this moment? What do I need this week? And then allowing the space for that to come forward and become reality, rather than the mind and the ego pushing to the front of the queue, because that's what it will do. What's your soul calling for at this moment in time? There's a song that I played on my Facebook page, I don't know, a week or so ago, a couple of weeks ago, and it was Van Morrison's Hymn to the Silence. And it's such a beautiful song, and I've played it quite a lot over the last week because it is just this hymn to the silence. And it's a song that sort of starts, it builds, and then the last minute, actually, maybe slightly less, is just, it's like you think it's petering out, but actually it's the best bit. It's allowing the silence. It's like he says the line, but then there's this silence in between each refrain. It's stunningly beautiful. We're being called to the silence. We're being called to the silence. And what is that? It's within ourselves. And we're being called at a time when the outside world has never been more demanding. To do this, to do that. This needs doing today, that needs doing today. And we're also being called to the silence at a time when the world has gone bonkers, okay? It's gone bonkers. And so ever more to go within. For that to be our practice, basically. For that to be our practice. How do you do that? Well, you're going to have to find your way. You're going to have to find your own way. It's going to be different for every single person. What I would suggest, and even if this is all that you can manage, which is properly partitioning off a proportion of your day for silence. That could be half an hour in the evening. The TV's on, nobody's watching it. It's just on. It's mindless noise. Switch it off. Sit in silence. Go to bed. I've been going to bed about half an hour earlier just because I want that space and that time and that silence. Switching off the phone. I don't need to watch another video. I don't need to watch another whatever. I don't need to look at the emails coming in. Switch it off. Silence. Silence, silence, silence. because in that silence there is the zero state, the place of balance. It's as though silence has, as a colour, if silence were a colour, I would say it would be white. It would be white. It would be that place of just perfect stillness. I mentioned Archangel Uriel coming in. Metatron is obviously all around anyway, all the time. The other energy I've been feeling very keenly over the last few days is Mother Mary. Again, this thing of going within. Mother Mary, the teaching that I so far have put forward with her, and the way that she wanted to present herself to us, was as the harbour light. The harbour light, Mother Mary, the harbour light. And the channeled message that goes with this spray is very much linked into that we are all children of God, effectively. And we all go off into the world, and the world is busy, and we get, preoccupied with so many things all the time. And the list just keeps growing and growing and growing if you're anything like me. But yet what Mary provides is this harbour place. And she says the light is always on in the harbour. And however rough the seas are out there, energetically, however rough the seas are, there is a safe place for you to moor in the harbour. Come back to the harbour if you need to this March, because I'm being shown the wider collective, which is the sea outside the harbour walls, raging. Okay, raging. I live by the sea, so I'm used to seeing the sea every day. And I'm being shown the sea at its choppiest. At its choppiest. And it's not just choppy, there's loads of white horses on it, the foam. In fact, it's more than that. You also get the spume, I think it's called, with the foam that flies off the sea. The sea churned up. Angry, actually. A lot of angry energy out there. A lot of angry energy, a lot of aggressive energy, a lot of confrontational energy. So you can either stay in the boat out there in the wider collective, bobbing around, trying to get the mast up so that the sail is up, getting more people into the boat to row. Or the wise man this month may very well do themselves a service by just allowing their boat to come back into the harbour, okay, and to bob gently there, because within the harbour are the walls. There is structure there within the harbour. There is safety within the harbour. And the harbour is Mother Mary, okay? That's what she is. She's the harbour. She's the safe point. And if you think about that, it makes sense anyway, because Mother Mary is the mother energy, the mother energy. And whatever your own mother was like, whether you had a great mother who always looked after you and was always there for you, or whether you had a very dysfunctional mother or an absent mother or a cruel mother, Mother Mary is the archetype of the Divine Mother, who has space in her harbour walls for every single child, and we are all children, that needs shelter there. Now she's saying to me, you might just need shelter within my walls for 48 hours, just to regain your strength to get back out there, or you might need to stay longer. It doesn't matter. No one's got a stopwatch and is looking at how long you're spending with her energy. She's saying spend as long as you need in my energy. And, Mother Mary is very much linked into the rose. You can see the rose here in the depiction of her. And again, going back to this card, we've got the rose. So let's just spray the Mother Mary spray. I mean, what interesting energies really are coming forward, which feel very, very different, because Uriel, as I say, this big sort of, he's like a warrior angel, it's like you don't mess with Ariel. I just said Ariel. Now, one of you watching me keeps going on about Archangel Ariel. Okay, I'll park that for a moment. I actually meant to say Uriel. How interesting. Okay, Ariel just came in. I don't know much about Ariel. I'll do that in a minute. I was talking about Uriel. Uriel is this warrior angel, you know, the one that scouts. And then we've got Mother Mary, who is also equally tough, but so loving and so gentle and so kind. So let's just spray Mother Mary. And open your heart. Just allow Mary in. And see your own heart just opening like the petals of a rose. Opening as Mary's energy comes in with soft, soft love. Unconditional love. Complete understanding. She's cupping you in her hand. She's cupping your face in her hands like that. And saying, oh, my precious child. Oh, my precious child. I love you. I love you. Come here and let me soothe you. Come here and let me hold you. Come here and let me heal you. Just come here. Sit here. Just be. Just be. Just be. And a mother knows you better than anybody else. The Divine Mother knows you better than anybody else. She sees all of who you are, and she loves you. She loves you. And she will fight for you with a lioness roar. Make no mistake about that. So I'm now being shown you, us, with Uriel in front of us, Mary behind us. How's that feeling? I don't know about you, but I'm feeling a lot better. How's that feeling? Now, Archangel Ariel. I have a card for Archangel Ariel. I'm going to pause my camera and go and get it. Hold on. I found them. They were in this old Archangel Oracle card deck by Doreen. I don't know whether Radley Valentine has redone it. Maybe he has, I'm not sure. So I'm not going to put a link up for them because I don't know whether they're still in publication. But anyway, this was the card I was seeing in my mind's eye linked into Archangel Ariel, which is to do with abundance. There's actually 3 cards in the deck linked into Ariel. This one, which talks about your material needs are provided as you follow your intuition and manifest your dreams into reality. So it's this thing about, again, if you go within, if you go into the stillness, if you listen to your soul, Get to know that, you know, because straight away I can hear people saying, how do I do that? How do I do that? Get to know yourself. Spend time with yourself. Okay, we live in a world where it's like we all run away from ourselves. We run away from just sitting with ourselves, being silent with ourselves. That's how you get to know yourself. That's how you get to know your higher self. If you follow that, if you do that, you can manifest your dreams into reality. We've got the cornucopia there, full of gold. The other energy that in this deck that goes with Ariel is courage. And just look this up actually. It says that her name means Lion of God. Interesting, because I just showed you my rose quartz lion. So yeah, her energy seems to be here for some of us that need it. So it's linked into courage. Be courageous, stand up for your beliefs. And then the third one is spread your wings. Spread your wings. Do not hold back right now. The timing is perfect and you're ready to soar. Okay. That being said, remember what Uriel was saying earlier, which is that don't just try and jump to the top of the pyramid and neglect all of these other lower, not lower, but you know, in terms of a pyramid it is, lower aspects, okay? You've got to look after your health. You've got to look after anything else that's going on around you. You can't just jump to, okay, Metatron saying you can't just jump to the finish line, okay? The person that wins gold, the person that completes the race is the one that's put in the training. It's the one that's put in the training. So this is just the time that we're in. Okay, let's just see if there's any other messages that want to come through at this moment. Let's pull a couple of tarot cards. I think I'll do that. That would be interesting. And let's go just for the after tarot deck here. Just to see what energies we've got for March. As I say, I'm going to come back to March, I'm sure, but let's just have a look what we've got. Let's have, let's just start with one, please. The energy right now. The energy right now, please. Archangel Metatron. The Ace of Wands. The Ace of Wands. That's good. We have got Judgment on the bottom of the deck as well, which I'll take. Let's have another 2 to go with that. Yeah, because this is sort of saying what I've said. Ace of Wands is like forward motion. Let's do it. Let's get there. You know, fresh new start. But yet the skeletons are coming out of the coffins there. Okay, it's like things from the past can come back to haunt us if we haven't cleared up our own mess. Maybe if we haven't, for example, apologized, or we haven't forgiven somebody, or we haven't let something go, or we haven't cut the cord. It's like it's going to boomerang back to you. So before going forward with this very strident energy, which is the Ace of Wands, which feels very much linked into springtime generally, it's like you have to have made some closures and decisions and made damn sure that, you know, there's nothing in the back catalogue that's going to come back to bite you. So what does that mean? It means making peace with it. Whatever that is, making peace with it, making peace with others, being honest, acting in integrity. And then the best practice going forward is, it's almost as though if we lived every single day as though this was the day that we were going to be remembered, you know, long after we've all gone, okay, and we've died and we've gone. But somebody is sitting in a chair and they're remembering, you know, who you were. That is linked into how you are today. Because the truth is that may very well be how somebody remembers you, by something you do today, by something that you say, by something that you do. You know, and that's why with all this explosive, angry energy, and all, you know, the analogy Metatron or Mary gave us of the boat bobbing around on the sea that's just going up and down and everyone's seasick. get yourself back into the harbour, okay? So you don't say something that you're later going to regret, or do something that you're later going to regret, because it's as though you're going to be judged on that at some point. We're all judged, ultimately, but at the day of reckoning. You know, how did you do in this lifetime? Were you kind or weren't you? Were you loving or weren't you? Were you helpful or weren't you? So every single day, if we can sort of try to bring that awareness in, it'll change. It'll change how we react. Let's have 2 more cards, please, for the energy right now. 2 more cards, please, for the energy right now. The 3 of Pentacles, working towards something, combined efforts, working towards something. This is also the card of learning, you know. This guy is a master. It's a bit like a Michelangelo type energy, you know. He's created this amazing statue. You know, it's not David, but imagine if that's Michelangelo standing before David. Look what he's been able to achieve. I'm also feeling this is also about learn from the masters, okay? Learn from the masters. What do I mean by the masters? I mean the real masters. I'm talking about the likes of Mary and Christ and Metatron and Buddha, and, you know, take that into all of the world religions, okay? This is a non-denominational channel at the end of the day. You know, the real, the enlightened ones, okay? It's as though we often are looking in the wrong places. We're looking at people with feet of clay to lead us, whereas the true masters, everything you need is already written down. That's the truth. I was thinking before I came on, sorry, Bamps, camera died. I was thinking before I came on here that everything's already out there. Everything's written. All the pearls of truth, they're already there. They're just waiting to be either remembered or rediscovered. But yet we're always wanting the new. Tell me something new. Tell me something new. It's all there already. And where the greatest record of it is in here. It's within this beautiful heart space. You do have access to everything within you. Remember, Metatron said the heart. Many of us at the moment, we're walking around. He's saying, no, don't even personalise. He's just saying the human body is still, more often than not, one-dimensional in terms of the heart. Whereas actually, if you open up the Hall of Holograms, the mirror of holograms, so many different experiences and realities and truths that are within you, if you would only stop and be still. So yeah, that all came from the 3 of Pentacles. The Master. But don't then put the Master onto a pedestal, okay? So with an example in terms of Christ, it's not about get down on your knees because you're beneath him. Christ is wanting to remind you that you are also the Master. Learn from him, learn from them, emulate the enlightened ones, but don't put them so far on a pedestal that there's this huge chasm between them and you, because actually they're in here as well. They're in here. They're an aspect of you. Okay. Let's have one more card then, please, for March. What is that? That is the 8 of Pentacles. Yeah, you see it's a similar one linked into work, hard work. This is a month to do the work, walk the talk. And you might be doing that on a path that feels quite lonely. Again, the analogy of most of the world's population, the truth is, are going to be out there on the choppy sea, in boats, you know, all over the place, because I haven't even talked about, I'll do it on a separate video, but, you know, there are events that are going to be happening through March. And I think actually it's a little bit undecided in terms of which one takes precedence, whether it's something linked into the political landscape, whether it is linked into this, whether it's linked into something environmental, whether it's something else. But there are events that play out around the equinox period, latter part of March, where everything is like this, okay? We're riding the waves, and most people are out on those boats and are going to be like, whoa, what the hell is happening? Now remember, Jesus, one of the things that Christ was able to do was remind the disciples when they were in the boat and it was all getting really like, oh, and they were frightened. Christ reminded them. He just stood up and he calmed the waters. He commanded the waters to be calm. And then it's almost like he reprimanded his disciples and said, have you forgotten that you could do that? You can do that. But equally, the guidance from Mary here is that a lot of people won't remember that. Even if Christ is literally right in front of their boat, they still won't ask for guidance. So the wise ones are being called into harbour, okay? And you can send your prayers out into that wider sea, but you don't want to be necessarily out in that. So to me, this is what the Eight of Pentacles is about. There's some work to do. Because the thing is, you're not just in that harbour sort of having a nice cup of tea. I mean, you can do, and chilling and like going to sleep for the month. No. You're doing the hardest job there is actually, which is actually being still, holding that peace, holding that calmness, whilst around you everything else goes wah. And you can do that. We can do that. And it is what we're being asked to do as a tribe. Okay, I'm going to leave this video there. And I shall come back and we will revisit the energies, no doubt, at some point over the coming days. Let's just end with a burst of Metatron. And we'll go to the flame spray. Archangel Metatron. I'm actually hearing, or Metatron is reminding me of a, again, it's a hymn. It's a beautiful hymn. It's one of my favourite hymns. And it's, be still for the presence of the Lord is residing in this place. Remember that hymn? Be still for the presence of the Lord. He's giving me those words. So let's just pull them up. Be still for the presence of the Lord. It's a beautiful hymn. Lyrics. Be still for the presence of the Lord, the Holy One is here. Come before him now with reverence and fear. In him no sin is found. We stand on holy ground. Be still for the presence of the Lord, the Holy One is here. He comes to cleanse and heal, to minister his grace. No work too hard for him, in faith receive from him. Be still for the power of the Lord is moving in this place. Be still for the power of the Lord is moving in this place. I've talked about stillness and silence throughout this whole recording. He doesn't want us to have fear. He doesn't actually want us to bow down in awe. He just wants us to be still, for the power of the Lord is moving in this place. The power of the power of God is moving in our world this month. And you may not understand all of what is happening and why it is happening, but at some level it needs to happen. And it is linked into awakening, it's linked into ascension, and the waters are choppy. The best we can do is to be still and allow God's light to shine from within us and all around. Yeah. Lots of love to everybody. See you all soon. Take care of yourselves. Bye for now.